Hello. All right. So in this particular demonstration, I'm going to test out USB-C capabilities. This is a USB-C 2.0 power delivery cable. Here we have a couple of breakouts. Here we can actually see that the breakout is, I'm just basically shorting ground and VCC here. Not the best job in soldering. We also have a connection to VCC and ground, which is connected up to this DC power supply. They're currently put into parallel mode so that when I start jacking up the current, you'll see two numbers here, add them together, that's the total amount of current. You'll see the number here, these won't be the most accurate. I'm gonna use a multimeter in order to actually measure that. And then also have a flare camera in order to see how hot things get. So first things first, we're going to turn up the current. You'll see that we're at 3.26 and 2.52. So just add those together. It's close to 6, not exactly 6. And you can see we have somewhat of a voltage drop of 2.2 to 1.6. So I'm going to use the multimeter here. I've done this before, so it shouldn't get too warm too soon. I'm going to use the multimeter to measure the voltage. If you can get a picture of that. You can see a voltage drop of, if I can get this just right, 1.43. And it should increase slowly but surely as things heats up, although it seems to be decreasing. Maybe it's cooling down. All right. But as the resistance goes up, it will increase, but that seems to be fine. And now for checking the actual temperature, we're going to see how hot this thing actually gets. So if I zoom out quite a bit, you'll see that most of the cable isn't getting that warm. Yeah, you can kind of see how it's getting warmer than ambient. If you look over here into the really hot areas, you can see that the majority of the heat's actually being dissipated inside of the inner layer that's grounded power in this PCB. It's getting the most hot, but the actual cables are doing just fine. If I kind of zoom in here, you can see that the temperature is around 27 degrees. If you go over here, you can see that the sheath is getting a little warm. It's at around 40 degrees C. And you can see that the PCB is the only thing that's really getting warm. All this is getting pretty toasty. Seeing some 90 degrees Celsius here. Pretty sure that's the area that's going to actually fail if anything fails. But yeah, the actual PCB, the actual cable seems to not be having a problem. And the voltage drop that we're measuring is pretty substantially low. So as long as we build a decent PCB around this, pretty much done with this, we should be good. And yeah, so I think for the most part, USB-C should have no issue with round about 6 amps. The voltage drop that we saw here is rather low, to the point where I think that this should work perfectly fine for any sort of applications, especially since we're going to be using this thing for motors that are going to operate in close enough to around 24 volts. A volt drop, or even a little bit more, even up to 2 volts, is not that substantial when we're driving at maximum power. So yeah, that's pretty much it.